Hello everyone. I thought that we would make a sunflower necklace. And yeah, I know it's out of season already, but they're still beautiful and I love the yellow color. So let's get started. The supplies you're going to need are UV resin, brown resin dye, yellow resin dye, 2 mixing bowls, 2 mixing utensils, a mold to make the sunflower, some chain, you'll need 3 5mm jump rings. I'm sorry, I'm only showing 2 of those, and then 1 6mm jump ring, 2 eyelet screws, 1 lobster claw closure, a drill with a small drill bit, and an attachment for the drill that has a sander on it. Now we're going to add some UV resin to a mixing bowl, and you'll need enough because we're going to make 3 of the sunflowers. So we're going to add a couple drops of brown, and then we're going to mix it up really well. Once you're done mixing, you're going to pour it into the center of the sunflower. And you will cure it for 90 seconds. Next, we're going to add a little UV resin to the mixing bowl. And we're going to place 4 drops of the yellow dye into that. And then I'm going to mix that up. The mixing tool was on the brown resin, but it didn't have any brown resin on the tool. I already had cleaned it off. Okay, now that it's mixed, I noticed it's not as vibrant as I wanted it, so I'm just going to add 2 more drops of the dye. And then mix it up. Make sure that it's mixed thoroughly, and then pour it into your mold. Now, after pouring it in, I noticed I did not have enough resin. So I'm going to add some more UV resin to the mixing bowl, and then I'm going to add 2 drops of the yellow dye to the resin, and then mix it up. And then add it to the mold so that the resin goes to the top of the mold. Once you poured it all in, we're just going to make sure there's no bubbles, and we're just going to spread the resin to each petal. When you're finished doing this, cure it for 180 seconds and then turn it over and cure the bottom for 180 seconds. This ensures that it's cured all the way through. Alright, so I made 3 of the sunflowers, and you make the other 2 just using the same procedure as we did for the first one. And I'm just going to sand down the edges a little bit because they seem a little sharp and you don't want that rubbing on your skin, so I'm just simply using the sander tool on my drill and just sanding it down. And then I'm feeling it with my finger just to make sure it doesn't feel sharp anymore. Even though this section is running a little faster, I am sanding each of the sunflowers. I'm done sanding, and now I'm just wiping off each sunflower with a baby wipe. And baby wipes are good to clean off your utensils from resin, and it's great for cleaning up debris that's left over from sanding. Now that the sanding is done, we're going to put the pieces together. I thought that this design looks really nice. And I'm just going to use a piece of sticky tack underneath the top sunflower, and that's just to make it level. I'm only using 3 flowers, but if you feel comfortable making more and adding more to your design, that is perfectly okay. I'm going to be adding a dab of UV resin on each of the sunflowers, and then placing the top sunflower over the UV resin. Make sure that you make the adjustments so that it's the way you want it to look. And then we'll cure it for 90 seconds. I'm adding some resin to the top of each sunflower. And then spreading it to the edges using a brush. And then I'm also making sure where I connected the top sunflower to the other two, I'm making sure I get resin in that area so that it secures it. As you can see, I'm also getting the edges of the petals. Cure for 180 seconds. Now that it's done curing, I'm going to use a glass tile with some sticky tack on it and turn it over. And then I'm going to be adding some resin to the back of the piece. And this also helps secure that top sunflower. And we're just spreading it with a brush to the edges. Cure for 180 seconds. Now that it's done curing, you can remove it from your glass tile and sticky tack. Make sure that there's no residue left over from the sticky tack. Next, you're going to need your drill with the small drill bit. I'm going to drill 2 holes, one on either side, and I'm drilling just a small hole between the petals. And this is just for the purpose of screwing in the little eyelet. And I'm just measuring to make sure that they're both going to be in the same place on either side, and then that way it will hang properly once you put the chain on. I'm just using a cheap makeup brush just to brush off any of the debris left from drilling the holes. And I'm just getting my eyelets ready. I'm going to use chain nose pliers to help me screw in the eyelet. They are very small. Be careful not to screw them in too much because they can break. Now I'll screw in the second eyelet, and as you can see close up, they look like they're not even visible. I'm measuring the chain out to 8.5 inches. If you would like it more snug along the neckline, you can do 7.5 or 8 inches. Now that you measured the chain, you can use your flush cutters to cut the chain. Also, you could use a pair of scissors because this chain is very delicate. I'm measuring the second chain now. And again, using the flush cutters, I'm cutting the chain. I'm adding the jump rings to the chain. On one end of the chain, I'm adding a 5mm jump ring. And on the other side, I'm adding a 5mm jump ring and the lobster claw clasp. And on the second chain, I'm adding a 5mm jump ring to one end. And on the other end, I'll be adding the 6mm jump ring. And the reason I'm using the larger one on this end is because we have the lobster claw clasp, and that's going to be part of the closure for the necklace. And now we're going to add the chains to the sunflower pendant, and we're going to open up the 5mm jump ring by opening it to the side. Never pull it apart because it loses its shape. And we're just putting it onto that eyelet and closing it up. And here we're doing the second one. Opening the jump ring to the side, and that's the 5mm. Placing it on the eyelet and then closing it up. And I'm taking the lobster claw clasp and opening it up and placing it onto the 6mm jump ring. You can find all the supplies and where to buy them in the description box. Also, if you'd like my video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and press that bell for notifications of upcoming videos. Also in the description box below, you will find links to my artwork, photography, and jewelry. Thank you for watching my video. See you soon. Bye-bye.